Hi, this is Tom Delk. I'm chaplain up at Normandy Farms Estates in Bluebell, Pennsylvania. Years ago, I spent a summer in Tokyo, Japan as part of a church planning project. I remember these words from our missionary hosts. Rule one of being a missionary: be flexible. That was great advice, as things were constantly changing and the culture in Japan was so very different, and there were new opportunities to get together with people coming up all the time. Of course, I was just a kid of 22, and everything was flexible then, including me. It's true that as we mature and reach middle age, we become less flexible, not only in our joints, but in the ways we think and how we process information and how we deal with change. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Younger people with their bendy, flexible, changeable brains often need us for stability and perspective. But then sometimes it can be a problem, and we need to just be aware of that. Here, Jesus gives us a big challenge. And these words are from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 2. He says, "No one sews a patch of unshrunk cloth on an old garment. If he does, the new piece will pull away from the old, making the tear worse. And no one pours new wine into old wineskins. If he does, the wine will burst the skins, and both the wine and the wineskins will be ruined. No, he pours new wine into new wineskins." That's Mark 2:21 and 22. So here's the thing. What happens when God wants to do a new thing in your life? When he wants you to bless someone, or when he wants to change your mind on an issue, teach you something new about himself, or maybe even do some work on your insides that may be hard, like maybe healing an old hurt or forgiving someone maybe. When God's on the move, his Spirit stretches us. Like new wine, God's Spirit is dynamic and full of life and expanding. If we're not flexible, we may just break under the pressure, like that worn, inflexible wineskin that Jesus was talking about. So what do? Well, first of all, we ask ourselves a question. Am I willing to stretch so that God is able to do something new in me? To not be willing is kind of sad, because God wants to complete in us what he started and wants to continue that throughout our lives. And we don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss it. The self-awareness that we are naturally skeptical about new things is really one of the first steps to being open and flexible. And the next thing we need to do is to practice. And just like stretching before we exercise, intentionally trying small, new movements increase our flexibility. It works with stuff like computers and cell phones, doesn't it? I think most of the time. It also works with spiritual things. So we ask ourselves questions about our answers. Is this the way I've always done it, always the way to do it? And why am I resistant to this change? Is it a principle, or do I just not like change? What's more important, what we're doing or why we're doing it? And finally, why? Why not try it? What would be the problem if I did? It's great being flexible, because when we are flexible, we are less likely to be injured. And as a follower of Jesus, just like it's important to be solid, take a stand, we need to stay flexible so we can act on his love in the present. Hey, have a great and flexible day. God bless.